Let's revisit our family at the Rio Grande Valley Port of Brownsville. And our chief, the director, is William Dietrich. We need to start, Chief, with a hearty congratulations. You are now the permanently appointed chief over at the Rio Grande Valley Port of Brownsville. Just want to hear from you real quick what it means to you.
Yeah, thank you, Sergio. I'm truly honored and incredibly excited to have been appointed as the CEO and director of the Port of Brownsville. The support and warmth from the port team and the community have been wonderful, and I'm grateful to be part of such a dedicated group and history here at the port.
You know, I think it'd be good to quickly review, because I know we get new audience all the time, people working for a living. Give us real quick your background. The Brownsville community is not new to you. You've been part of the Brownsville community for many years.
Oh, definitely. I've been in Brownsville 30 years. Definitely, I was previously the chief of police, but worked for the city of Brownsville for 27 years. Moved here 30 years ago, and I'll die here. I love the community.
Let's talk about the most recent big news, the channel deepening project under contract now. Give us as many specifics. Describe the project for us.
Yeah, definitely, Sergio. Thank you. The BIH Channel Deepening Project is a public-private partnership between Next Decade, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and the Port of Brownsville. It has been in development for over a decade. There's been a lot of work put into this. Next Decade is contributing the largest share, which is approximately $400 million. The Port of Brownsville providing about $71 million, and the Corps of Engineers is contributing $68 million. This dredging will increase the channel's draft by 10 feet from 42 feet to 52 feet, allowing the port to accommodate larger vessels with increased load capacity. This is very, very important because this will make the Port of Brownsville more attractive to major carriers.
10-4. And if I could just branch off real quick, in prospecting and recruiting industry to the area, that would make things much easier for you.
Absolutely. It's definitely a tool in our belt that we can use and attract a large industry, advanced manufacturing industries, people who are wanting to come in and take advantage of the draft. Absolutely. It makes it a lot easier.
William Dietrich is our CEO and director of the Rio Grande Valley Port of Brownsville. We're catching up to speed with business at our port. I need to touch on litigation that our liquefied natural gas industry is all tied up in at the moment. There's only so much you can say about this. Are you in any way concerned that it might lead to the stoppage, the pause of construction of LNG at the port?
I really don't believe so, Sergio. You know, the U.S. Court of Appeals has raised questions specifically about the environmental impact study procedures used by the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission during the permitting process. It's important to clarify that these concerns focus on FERC's procedures were not any actions taken by Next Decade during the 9-year permitting process. I'm confident that courts will ultimately recognize the significant positive impact of this project and affirm that it's environmentally sound and responsible. Next Decade is demonstrated by extensive study. You know, notably, we could keep in mind here, Next Decade has purchased and set aside over 4,000 acres of wetland and wildlife preservation here at the Port of Brownsville. Along with that, when we compare that to the 700 acres that they're using for the LNG plant, they've actually went out and purchased these 4,000 acres as part of their social responsibility to the environment.
I'm glad you mentioned the mitigation, the contribution from the local tenants. That gets lost and sometimes in the headlines, and working people need to know about that.
Yes,
These
sir.
folks are fully invested in the Rio Grande Valley. Well, update on hiring. What do you hear? How many folks are on payroll? How many more coming? How many more do they need? What do you know? And I'm guessing LNG is driving all these numbers. So what's going on as far as hiring?
You know, the project's moving forward. Next Decade Rio Grande LNG is actively hiring skilled craftsmen, including pipe fitters, welders, heavy machine operators, concrete workers. Currently, there's about 1,200 workers on site, with plans to increase to over 2,000 by the first quarter of 2025.
And still the majority from the valley, right? The folks they're finding?
Yes, sir. The majority of the employees in the valley, and in very unique numbers, that a large part of the contractors and local contracts have been going to valley businesses.
The industrial park, give me an update to that.
The industrial park is progressing well. We will be pouring concrete in the next week or two. That once we see that concrete there, it'll start looking more like an industrial park. We're excited about the opportunity it brings to us and being able to bring in new tenants with a focus on light industry that includes a maritime component. We're confident that the business park will attract new customers eager to leverage the maritime component and the facility of the multimodal transportation here at the Port of Brownsville.
A couple of conversations ago, you mentioned the big tenant. Repeat that one. Who's the big tenant that helped start everything over at the industrial park?
We have the Fowler company that just came in and signed a contract. They should be starting construction October, if I remember correctly.
Okay,
so, yes, definitely. That is our first tenant, and we're very, very proud of that.
Yeah, multi-million-dollar project and lots of jobs on the way from that as well. Tonnage. I know I haven't asked you in a while, and usually that's a very impressive number, how you keep growing it year to year. So any data you want to share with me as far as tonnage, some of the business taking place at the port?
We're slightly below last year's total tonnage, but vessel calls have increased from 1,002 year-to-date from last year to 1,120 this year. The 3-month draft restriction we had from Tropical Storm Alberto, I believe it was, required a lot of our vessels to lighten up before they came to the port. This impacted our overall tonnage numbers. The restriction has been lifted as of August 3rd. The Corps of Engineers came down here and cleared the shoaling. We're back to normal draft, which is a relief to us, and the larger loads are starting to come back in. But we are on track to recover in the fourth quarter.
One of the write-ups in the most recent newsletter had made mention of how our port here at Brownsville supports the auto industry. You got all this steel that comes here and goes to Monterrey, Saltillo, the multinational firms. Do you see this eventually evolving? Maybe they can reciprocate and send us the vehicles to ship out from Brownsville or host some of those big ships. What do you think?
Yeah, I really hope so. And, I agree that the port plays a significant role in the auto industry. We have the potential to become a hub for both inbound and outbound finished products. We're committed to enhancing our infrastructure and to support this type of operation as the opportunity rises.
Well, appreciate your time, Chief. Anything else you want to mention before I let you go?
No, thank you very much, and you have a great day, sir.
Congratulations, Chief, on your permanent appointment to the Rio Grande Valley Port of Brownsville. CEO and Director of our Port of Brownsville, William Dietrich.